Hi everybody, it's Helen here with my weekly update about my book writing. And oh boy, what a journey it is going into your past. And I suppose my message for this week is be careful of the past, and I'm going to explain why. So for the latest part of my book, I had to write about one of the lowest times in my life when I had a nervous breakdown. And I had to mentally and emotionally go back into that time. I really had to immerse myself in it, and it wasn't easy. I can understand now why I was putting it off. Because what I found is I had to relive it all. I had to remember what it was like to be overwhelmed mentally, like I was back then. My mind just wouldn't stop. I couldn't sleep. There were 1,000 voices in my head, all that sort of stuff. And I was full of anxiety and worry and stress all the time. And I suppose one of the things that I really realised was how much I've changed. I don't operate that way anymore at all. But let's go back to writing the book. So that afternoon that I wrote about that time in my life, I have no idea how many hours I sat in front of the laptop typing the story. But when I'd finished, like I had to sit back and go, I looked outside my window and thought, where the hell have I been? I felt like I'd been off somewhere completely different, another dimension, whatever you want to call it. It was extraordinary. It's like I'd gone somewhere else completely. And when I came back into this room and started to reorientate myself, one of the things I found was you bring back some of that energy with you. How do I explain it? There were just remnants of the way I used to think. Those voices, they were kind of back in my head. My energy felt low. It felt, I don't know, like I'd stepped into molasses or something, My energy mentally and emotionally was very different after writing that part of the book. And it took me actually 24 to 48 hours to actually pull myself back out of that, to clean it up away from me, if that makes sense. And, as I said a little earlier, I don't operate like that anymore. So I clearly knew how I now mentally and emotionally operate, and I knew that I'd brought some of it back with me. So I just want to let you all know, be very aware of how much you go back into the past, and also be aware of how much you stay there, and I mean by reliving stories, reliving events, especially the bad ones, because, it got a hold of me that day and kind of wanted to hang around, wanted to stick around, wanted me to think a certain way, wanted me to feel a certain way, and it was pretty sticky and yucky. And like I said, it took me a day or two to really just shake it all off. I even had nightmares at night, and I don't have that stuff go on, So, I brought it back with me. So be careful how often you go back into the past, and especially how long you stay there. My energy now, the way I operate, and I'm going to explain this through the book as well as to how I made these changes, but I don't get caught up with anybody emotionally or mentally. I have good, solid boundaries around myself, and I'm very proud of that, because there's no point, there's no way that we need to be getting mixed up in everybody else's thoughts and emotions. So as I said, I will reveal that in the book. That'll be good stuff writing that. But I still have to navigate some of these yuckier, lower, dirtier memories and thoughts, because if I can't tell those stories, I can't tell you how I overcome them as well. So be careful of the past. And I'll remind you again, like I always do, you are the greatest creation on this earth. So start acting like it. Thank you, everybody. Bye.